Men of Reddit, what is the creepiest woman you've ever come into contact with? I'm a girl, but my ex-best friend belongs in this post. The reason why I stopped hanging out with her is because of her treatment of the men in her life. As someone who is in an abusive relationship, I began to realize that's what she was doing to her boyfriends. Ramona and I had met in class, and she was weird from the start, but I was new to the school and we had a lot in common. One day, we're walking from class, newly discovering what we had in common. I was in the middle of a relapse from my eating disorder and I was way too thin, and I mentioned having issues with food. She was excited and screamed, "You have an eating disorder? I used to have an eating disorder!" Which would be fine if we weren't around everyone on campus. This should have been a red flag, and I later realized she would shout just about anything about herself or other people. She was always really desperate for a boyfriend. It's all she cared about. When we met, she was dating a guy that I never got to meet, but from the sounds of it, he was emotionally abusive. She left him on and off. After she finally left him for real, everything about her got really weird. I wish I could describe how creepy her behavior in general was, but I'm struggling to do so. She would always be talking about how she needs a man in her life, and it was sending her into a depression. She slept with just about every guy that gave her the slightest bit of attention. She told me she has slept with over 50 people when we met, and we were friends for 2 to 3 years, and had slept with at least 30 people in the time frame, so the number must be nearer to 100 now. This doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that every guy she sleeps with, she decides is boyfriend potential, and she gets mad when they don't call her back or turn out to have a girlfriend. She dated a guy for a while and he dumped her on her birthday. I actually feel bad for this guy though because he was a schizophrenic and just couldn't take a relationship anymore. Ramona went to his place to do her freakout thing at him and broke his guitar and other things. He then went to a mental institution and became a tomato from the medications he had to be on. This guy told her up front that he had herpes and she said that it was okay and started sleeping with him. Except then she caught it and she doesn't exactly tell everyone she meets that she has it. Another guy she started seeing thought they were in a casual relationship and he didn't want to continue. Her reaction was to go to his place, convince his roommates to let her in, wait for him to come home, and then scratch her legs up with her hands so badly that she scarred herself. Once we were planning on going out together, so I'm super excited and she's at my house and decides she doesn't want to take a bus. Without asking me, she calls somebody and says, "Hey, come to this address and pick us up." I get out of the shower and I'm like, "Who the hell did you just call?" "Just some guy I met at the bar last night." We give her a talking to for coming over to my house coked up and giving a stranger she met yesterday my address. And I get a ride from my boyfriend instead. At her place, some random guy shows up. It's the guy she called earlier. Now I'm hanging out with this guy I don't know while Ramona is on coke. I become a third wheel while she tells this guy things about herself like, "I don't brush my teeth every day," which is super awkward. I call my boyfriend to come pick me up because she invited him out on our girls' night. She later tells me she did this because she needed a guy to hook up with at the end of the night. I ended the relationship with her the day she was supposed to be at my house and didn't show up. Not an uncommon occurrence, because she's selfish and never gave a crap that maybe you had things to do other than wait around for her. She finally answers and says something along the lines of, "I'm so sorry I can't come over today. My mom is driving me back from city because I went to Guy's house and punched him in the face. Trust me, he deserved it." OP's friend, or ex-friend, sounds like they need a good trip to a therapist. Or maybe 20. 20 trips, by the way, not 20 therapists. That would be strange. This isn't some Goodwill Hunting scenario. But really, it sounds like she just has some deep-seated issues that could be worked through. Of course, I guess the first step is recognizing that she has those issues, and she doesn't sound like she's going to do that anytime soon. But I hope she does at some point and manages to get better.